Hi, it's Moni, and welcome to Mind and Your Business. Hi, guys. Welcome to Mind and Your Business with Moni. I want to call this a very special episode. The way that like your favorite 90s sitcom would call it, this is a very special episode of blah, 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 because they were going to cover like the most important topic, and it might even become like a two-part episode. That's what today's is, because I have one of my dearest friends, Arya Chowdhury, here, and she is going to blow your mind because she does mine every time we talk and interact. And so I wanted to have Arya here today because I'm going through a time of transformation, and I feel like she is continuously helping to advocate and push for people to up-level themselves. And I felt like no better place than to have a conversation about that than here. So thank you for being here, Arya. Will you please tell everybody like what you do, who you are, just so that they have some backstory about you, so that then we can go into our topic with them having more context?
Yes, thank you so much, Moni, for having me on your show. I'm a big fan. I'm so grateful that we met and that I have this opportunity to be here with you today. So my name is Arya Chowdhury, and I work as an emergency medicine physician, and I would also say I am an artist and a creator of my life. And I'm also a human. That's how I identify. And yeah, that's about it.
I identify as a human as well.
That's right.
Okay, so, I think one of the things that's important for people to just like know about you is, yes, you're this physician, you're this, in society, this person that people admire. Oh, she has her shit together. She's this, like, kind of the pinnacle of what the world says you're supposed to be. And then you are so much more than that. And you are, I think, one of those people that gives an example of like how you can rest in the one dimension of life where it's like you are your occupation and, constantly achieving within the world's structures is the only way to be, or you can be more than that. And I feel like when I started to realize that I could be more than that, than just what I do or what I produce, it caused me to be able to know myself better and grow more. And I feel like you are a big part of that happening for me. So just thank you for that. And also everybody know that, that it's not just about that title, but it's like, what else? Who else? Like who's underneath or beyond all of that? So I'm just saying that. I don't know do you care to respond to me saying that? What do you feel about that?
Well, that's a great observation, and what I will say is, I don't really identify as an emergency medicine physician. To me, it's not necessarily, it's a part of me as far as it is what I do for a living. There's many things that I do for a living. I'm creating all the time. And so I'm not as tightly attached to this identity. And when you have that breathing room, when you have that space, you have space for play and creativity, and you're just not, you don't have to be in a limited box. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. Yes, I hear that, and I think that's a great way to put it, and way more eloquent than what I said. But that's a great segue into what I wanted our topic to be, and thank you for agreeing to talk on this topic. So I wanted to identify with you and talk with you about 5 ways that someone can shift from being a participant in their life to a powerful creator. And it's not just in your life, but in your business, which I think these two things are intertwined anyways. So 5 ways that someone can make that shift from, it's happening to me to I'm creating. Cool?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so go ahead. What would be like the first way that someone could make that shift?
So we'll get right to it, but I did want to just piggyback on what you said about, life and business. To me, it seems like any business you do or anything that you're creating, the world is a reflection of you, of your life. And so to me, it just seems like they're equivalent, actually. So that's how I see it. I don't think they're necessarily separate entities. We can think of it that way. But to me, it's one and the same. Okay. So, as far as shifting to being a creator in your life or your business, the first thing I would say is, you know, notice that you don't have any control over your external circumstances, and you never will. And so, just admitting that to ourselves. However, one thing to shift is to get out of the victim mindset. A lot of the times, just because we don't have control over our external circumstances doesn't mean that we're automatically victims of our circumstances. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And I think the most beautiful part about being conscious human beings is the ability to respond to life instead of react. So what I'm saying is taking radical accountability and radical responsibility for our lives is where it starts. And the shift would be getting out of that victim mindset and noticing that no matter what's happening around you, how you respond is totally within your control. You don't have to respond automatically, right? You don't have to react automatically. So you can take a moment, you can pause, and it's up to you how you respond. So yeah, the driver maybe somebody cuts you off in traffic. You don't have to get angry.
Mm-hmm.
It's an emotion that's going through your system. You can pause. That anger will pass, and that's it. And eventually, if you practice it long enough, it doesn't even touch you. So it's a superpower if you practice it.
Okay, so I think that I love this as your first one, especially. Like, what a great thing. So, can you maybe share a little bit more on how to actually do this? So, I think that most people, especially if they listen to this show or know me or know you, they probably already understand hey, you're not a victim to your life or the things that happen to you. But how is it that how do you know when you are being a victim? I guess to me, how do you get aware that you're even doing it so that then you can address it? Because I know that for myself, I believe that that's true. I'm not a victim, but yet I will all of a sudden realize one day oh, I have been not even aware that I'm being a victim here, and that's why that's not working. So how is it that people can notice that so that they can choose to respond as opposed to react?
I think there's two things to note here. First of all, recognizing the places where you are feeling out of control, perhaps, or you are feeling down or low on yourself and feeling like you're giving your power away, because that's always a false narrative. So whenever you get into those spaces, you have to pause and you have to go, okay, is this actually true? And if you just take a moment to pause, that's when you can take that accountability. That's when you can be responsive and go, no, this is just a narration. This is just a story that's kind of going through your mind's eye. It's not who you are. It's not, you're the conscious observer of what's happening. And so making that shift at that place. So anytime you're seeing something in your life that is reflecting any sort of lack of worthiness or being out of control, you have to recognize it's a story, because you do have the power, you do have the control. So
interesting. Mm-hmm. So okay, so I love that. So it's like taking some type of a inventory of, okay, these are the places where I feel like I'm out of control. How can I influence? I'm a victim to this. Just noticing those places and then addressing them is think of great tips. So perfect. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the super practical way to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's next?
Okay. The second thing, if you want to be a powerful creator in your life and business, is to really build your house on a foundation of truth with a capital T. Okay. Not on this house of cards, because if you do build on that, it's gonna fall apart. Okay. And so I want to elaborate on that point. What I mean by that is, you really have to know yourself very well. And you have to sit with yourself for a while and understand what your value system is. Because if you don't have a value system that you live by, one will be created for you. You will take on the value system of your society, and it may not be the best thing for you. We're all unique individuals. So taking the time to explore who we are and understanding what our value system is, understanding what our purpose is, and why we're building our life, having a life purpose. I have a life purpose. Having a purpose for your business. What do you want to share with the world? And so being very clear on that from the get-go will give you this foundation of truth that is very unique to you, to your story, to who you are as a human being. And that way, you're not building on somebody else's values or system, and things will not fall apart for you. So it's really important to dig deep and start there.
Okay, so I think that's really interesting. So truth with a capital T, what I'm hearing you say is like truth with a capital T is about knowing yourself and what you truly value and what you truly want, what your purpose is. That is the truth with the capital T. Is that right?
So that is a truth with the capital T, and actually there's another element to this as well, which is staying in touch with. We have our subjective truths, right? Everybody has a different version of reality that they live in. Your story is different than mine,
Sure.
and our listeners' stories will be different. But then we also have this like collective space that we share, right? We have collective societal agreements. We all agree to pay taxes. We all agree to school. There's certain collective things. So yeah, as long as you are aware, you can, because you can go very far with this. So you want to be aware of what the collective truth is, and then you do want to also find what that is for you individually. So that's the other part.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's great. So I'm thinking to myself about like the need for, when I think about truth and like to be honest, I feel like, are you talking about like being honest with yourself? Is that part of this? Like to build your foundation on what is true for you, and also to be honest with yourself? Is that part of this as well?
Absolutely, absolutely, and quite honestly, speaking of honesty,
Right?
it wasn't okay for most of us. Most of us are programmed to not be honest with ourselves. When we were truly honest with ourselves, we got punished for it. And so there is this like fear deep in the human psyche, this core wound of, if we truly are honest, what will happen? We fear it. And so it's even hard to look in the mirror and be absolutely honest. But it's important, and it's necessary, and it's a practice, and it will serve you well if you're able to do that.
Okay, can you make a connection between doing this or being this way and creation? Like, will you make that connection clear?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So creation, to me is, it's the ultimate gift of being human, and also the ability to just make something out of nothing, right? It starts in imagination. And so if you create, right, if you're creating to get something, it's an exchange, okay? However, if you create for the sake of creation, there is a joy. It's like listening to music, You listen to music, you're not like trying to rush to the end. You're present with every beat, and you're listening to everything, and you're dancing with that, and you're listening to music, right? So to me, creation seems to have this flow, and that flow can only occur when it's coming from a very deep truth within you. And that's why it's important to have that foundation of truth.
Okay, got it. So it's about like the purity of it.
Yes.
Okay, so the purity of it, being clear on who you are, being honest about who you are with yourself, primarily and most importantly, creates the ability to flow. Mm-hmm. And the flow is where creation occurs. Getting out of that, I think you're saying, and it's an exchange, but the word I would use, I'm a realtor, transactional, right? So I made this in order to get something, isn't necessarily like the highest form of creation, right? Like the highest form of creation is to create for the sake of creating.
And joy, that is the highest form of joy as well. I mean, let's be honest. When I'm listening to music, I'm like, we're all in a different space. We love it. Versus if you're going to work, it just seems like, some of there's all these resistance present.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
Yeah, if you can find a way to just create for the sake of creation, this is where it starts. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. What's next?
Well, while you need a plan, you also have to be really open to the unknown, and you have to be very flexible, and you have to go with the flow. That's
It's funny coming from a physician, right? Like a person who's had to be, to get where you are, has to have this ability to be in the structure, perform to the standard. But this is a different world. This is a different way of being that you're talking about.
It is, and it's interesting because it actually does translate into my work as an ER physician as well, because I never know what's walking through the door. And so there is this highly creative space as well when you're just, you have to go with it, whatever's happening.
Yeah.
So there's the structure, but there's also that room for play.
Yeah, I experience that in what I do. And I think it's my favorite part of being a real estate broker. People ask me and I say, it's the creativity. And a lot of people don't get that, or they're like, what? Like, how is it? It's just contracts. It's this. But it's like, no, it's problem solving. Every person that you are serving and working with has a different goal, different problem, different whatever. And you get to create a solution for them and with them, co-create with another agent. There's a lot of creativity that's there, but coming at it with the flexible mind is key, because if you don't have that flexibility, you're unable to see solutions that are just outside of the box that you've put yourself in, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And that speaks to broadening the definition of, creation. A lot of people sometimes put it just to like artists or painter or, musicians. But creation is this whole existence, it comes out of nowhere all the time. So we're creating all the time.
Why do you think it is that some people struggle with the idea of being flexible in how they think and how they go through life? Where do you think that's coming from?
It's a lot of different things, but I would say probably on the top of the list is perhaps exposure and just being used to doing something. And we also have this need for safety and homeostasis. So biologically, our wiring, our bodies, fight it. And then societally, you also just want to just feel safe. And so we're taught these parameters of safety, which are little boxes of confinement of prison in some ways.
Yes.
And so the ability to shift beyond that is when you can get into that creative space. But some people just don't have that awareness or don't have that opportunity or never learn to push themselves in this way. So I think just educating yourself and pushing yourself outside of those boundaries will help you get there.
So practicing it.
Yeah.
Practice getting a little uncomfortable.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. That's great. Okay, so we've talked about, having to have a flexible mind. We've talked about building your house on the foundation of truth. What was the first one that you said?
Getting out of the victim mindset.
Getting out of the victim mindset. So what's next?
Community is incredibly important. Yeah. So you have to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, people that will support you, and people that really believe in you. And literally separate yourself from the toxicity and people, the naysayers, right? We always have them. And it's not necessarily like a good thing or a bad thing. I wouldn't look at it that way. I kind of look at it as like it's just how growth works. When you outgrow certain spaces and certain individuals, you literally can't fit into those spaces. You owe it to yourself. You have to move on to a different space, and then you have to allow the other person to grow, allow them to up level and meet you. That's the way to go.
Yeah, I feel like some of the most magical things in my life have occurred when I, either on purpose or by accident, just got with a new group of people or met a certain person who helped. Like, it was like, I felt like there was something there, but I couldn't quite articulate or even pinpoint what was going on. And then next thing you know, you meet this person, and that person suddenly, I don't know, like it embodies a feeling that then wakes that thing up. It's like, oh yeah, that's what it was. And now you can see this new level that you can be. And it was just by chance that you happened to walk into a new place. It's how I met Jovan. It was like by chance. I decided I wanted to try a new sport. walked into a place, met my future husband. It just happened like that. But I had a feeling something in my life was going to be different. And I was seeking different things, like trying new and different things because I just had this feeling. So I was going off of the feeling and then it appeared. Do you feel like that happens a lot? Is that how it happens for you or how does that go?
It sounds to me like, are you describing your feeling like intuition maybe?
Yeah, that could be a word. I don't know why I just didn't say intuition. Yes, exactly. My
Okay.
intuition is like something is going to occur.
Yeah. So I think broadly there are two categories of people. There is the intuitive, and then we have like the logicians, and then most humans are a combination of both. What happens in society is we're taught to be hyper logical, and we lose touch with that intuitive side of us. And especially in the female, as creator beings, as a woman with a womb who birthed the world, we have access to that at a certain level. Perhaps the male species don't. So I think connecting to that intuitive part of us is such a gift. It's actually a higher form of intelligence than logic. It allows you to move, like take quantum leaps into different spaces. And it's that feeling. It's just the way you something told you to go, and you met your husband there. So there's so many things like that happen, many work opportunities. You can search online for months and months trying to find a job, and then maybe you just felt like, oh, I need to go get a coffee for some reason, even though you don't drink coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And then there it is. So really, there's a whole art to it as well. You can actually really hone in on that and practice that. It's a great skill set to tune to.
Okay, so this is really cool because I'm thinking about you. You're basically saying who you surround yourself with matters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to make this shift into creating more powerfully for yourself, you want to be with people who are on the same page as you. How do you know if they're on the same page as you? Probably your intuition can tell you. Is that true?
Your intuition can tell you, and also on a practical level, sometimes you may not even have access to those types of people, So I'll listen to inspirational speakers, people that I really admire. And for me, it would be like, I could go hang out with my, friends and get a drink. And I do that sometimes. That's fine. But a lot of the times, for hours and hours, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to, the YouTube videos. I'm reading a book. Surrounding myself with some of the brightest and greatest mind in the world, people that I aspire to be like, because it's there. And so when it's just like having a friend, I just look into books and you can travel in time too,
smart.
Right?
Super smart.
You can travel in time too. You can go back. You can look at, books like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is one of my favorite, or read about Einstein. Like there's Tesla, some of the geniuses of the world. And so it's nice that we still have copies of literally what they have created.
Right. Yeah, I think you're answering something that a lot of people, I hear this a lot from people saying like, I want to do something. I want to expand or grow in some way. And they say, but I don't know how. And I don't know anyone who's done this thing. I don't have access to the people who have done these things. But it's like in our modern times, is that really true? Think about what access actually means, right? What you're saying is you're creating your own like mentorships with all of these, people who have done what you want to do, or whose results mirror the results you want to create in your life. And you're just choosing let me read it then. If I don't know them, let me listen to the podcast. Let me listen to their content. I think that this is such a empowered as opposed to victim way of dealing with the idea of like, you might be in a place where everyone around you kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you need to create your own kind of imaginary friends with the technology and with the access to information, which is endless, that we all have at this point. Like if you're listening to this podcast, it means that you can listen to other podcasts too with people who inspire you.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. What a gift.
Yeah. And what an empowered way to deal with that challenge. Mm-hmm. I think that that's great. I'm like looking at myself like I need to do that more. There's so many things. There are things that I think about creating, and then I think to myself, well, I don't have a blueprint, and then that becomes a stumbling block. And it's like, well, that's not even really true. I really do have, I do. I'm choosing not to look that hard for it and to see it in a way, in a different way than what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to be able to sit down with someone and they're going to talk with me and we're going to write notes and they're going to help me and blah, blah, blah. Well, that might not be the way that the help I need is delivered, but it doesn't mean that the help I need isn't there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Cool. Okay. What else? Yeah. Last one? Are we already on the last one?
Yeah.
How much time has passed?
Quick.
Yeah, we're doing good.
So the final one is powerfully investing in yourself. Yeah, powerfully investing in yourself. Like I said, your life, when you invest in yourself, everything else is going to be a reflection of that. So what does that mean? It means prioritizing the things that are super important, like your health. Your health is the foundation of everything. You know, you get sick one day, or you're in an accident, or you have a heart attack, like the patients that I see. You know, if you don't know, you'll know it then, right? So it's like, what blows my mind sometimes is, and it's just, I think it's just a matter of awareness. It's like we stress out and we have these unhealthy jobs and unhealthy work hours sometimes so that we can make a certain income so that we can be happy. But that is actually what's making us sick. It's easier to just, you know, build a life around. And that's why I was saying you have to build your life on a foundation of truth, right? What are your values? What do you care about? And what's important up there? Prioritize. You know, health is a priority. You have to be healthy or you have nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Like your life force is important. Resting and playing, you know, having fun with life, not being attached to things. And then creating for the sake of creation. And then finally, take yourself to the workshop, the seminars, the vacations, all those things. I love all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that a big change in my life and my business came when I started to pay for shit that I didn't before. You could not pry my wallet open for not $1 to do anything. But when I realized the value of investing and how that was a stepping stone to a different level, that's when it was suddenly like I remember when I got my transaction coordinator. So just so you know, it's like there's realtors out there that do their own paperwork, mm-hmm. right? And then there's ones that have a transaction coordinator. And it's kind of like this mark of like when you move to a level where you don't have time to do your own paperwork, is when most people, yeah, it's awesome. But a lot of agents, they think, well, I still have time to do my own paperwork, so I'll do my own paperwork. And I think it was probably, honestly, it's probably Jovan, because he's the catalyst for most of my big changes in life. But somebody told me, it was like, until you like basically begin investing in yourself and your business at the level you want it to be, it's always going to stay where it is. So it was like, even though I could sit and still do my paperwork and I had time, making the conscious choice to stop making time for that and paying someone to do it allowed me to do more business. It gave me time to all of a sudden more business started flowing to the point where I remember like it was like $400 per deal I had to pay. And I was like, oh my God, like how could I ever afford it? But I did it. It was like trusted other people. I did it. And it wasn't like a week later. It was like randomly like 4 deals came in. And it was like kind of out of nowhere. And I just remember thinking, oh, that's what that was. Like that was like God responding, universe responding of like, okay, you just told me you're acting more like a CEO or a business owner. So I'm going to make this business fucking sing. That's what happened. So it's like this concept you're talking about, I think, is important to say. It's like not only invest in yourself, the workshops, the trips, the hiring the coach, but like consider doing it at a level just beyond where you currently are.
Yes.
So that, well, why? So yeah, you're saying yes. Why are you saying yes? Like, help me articulate this.
Yes. So you want to, you want to stay in your craft. Everybody needs to stay in their craft because that's where you shine. You know, you're a visionary and, you love interacting with people and that's your craft. If you bog yourself down, although you have to do it in the beginning with transactions and certain things, sure, you're wasting your talent. So you want to support yourself so that you can stay in your craft and you can grow, and that will bring you, the most joy and creativity and growth.
Yeah.
So staying in flow and then supporting yourself, and that is investing in yourself, right? Because ultimately, yes, there's a certain amount you're paying people that you're hiring to do certain things, but ultimately, because you're the visionary and because you're the creator, you're going to up level. It's going to be nothing. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So investing in your health, investing in your physical health, your mental health, um, your professional development, or even your artistic development, I think is something that's important too. It's like many of us have these jobs, or we have careers, or we have businesses that are kind of logic based. It's very rare to meet like someone who's I'm just an artist and that's how I make a living. So most of us don't make our living in art. Though I will say I consider what I do art. So there's a part of me that kind of doesn't necessarily agree with that. But I think what I'm getting at is like, I think it's also important to feed that aspect of you, the part that is purely creative. Maybe you used to draw as a kid, or used to sing, or used to whatever. So it's like to make an investment there, even though it doesn't necessarily directly play into your business or whatever, your pocketbook. Do you feel like there's a benefit to people doing that or making that a point?
Absolutely. I think that's everything. I think the more time you can spend in your joy, whatever craft that is, making art, um, it'll just bring a different type of energy to your work. You're healthier, you're happier. And then at some point, if you get really invested, it's okay to do the jobs that we have, but I believe it's possible to make a living and a good one too from anything that you're super passionate about. Whether it's art, it's just a matter of taking that leap of faith, going all in, and willing to make a few adjustments. But you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, we had my friend Tiffany on the show maybe a month or so ago, and Tiffany Featherstone, if you guys want to check her out, she had a very successful real estate business, but she's always been an artist, and she decided she did that exact thing. She saved up some money, just a few months worth of whatever, and she just like quit, and she like started doing art full time, and I think she started maybe 2 years ago that she did that. So 2 years in, and she's doing it. She's like, part of the episode she talked about her ego, and she thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, but everything she's been going through in order to like make it work, and incrementally finding more and more success. And it's just incredibly inspiring seeing someone do this in such a out of the box, type of field. I don't know. I mean, she's, I think, the only artist I know in real life. I mean, that is their sole way of making income.
Wow, that's so inspiring.
Yeah, she's really cool. You would love. We should get together.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get you together with Tiffany. She's like amazing. But do you mind if I ask you just something off topic of this? Because we went through this. I just want to I want to ask you. So you have this. I feel this very like unique spirit, and this. I think you have been just incredible insight and awareness. Where do you think that came from?
That came from years of pain, brute force effort of wanting to really elevate my life and find meaning and answer the bigger questions. So it's very intentional for me. Everything I am and all that I've created has been intentional. It's been this fire, this desire. Perhaps I was born with that part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this passion for wanting to understand reality, wanting to understand the world around me, and wanting to truly understand who I am and what I'm doing here. So I went all in on that, and that's how I'm here.
So do you feel like, so I guess what I want to ask is kind of weird, but I'm going to ask it. Is it difficult to be how you are?
Actually, it's a pleasure. So there are some challenges along the way of constantly trying to fit into these boxes that somebody else made. And once I learned, oh, wait a minute, like I can create my own boxes and I was not designed to fit into boxes. Once I learned to truly accept who I am, and that's when the entire world shifted. And I believe the world, and it is actually a reflection of who we are on the inside, the world will reflect that back to you, just like a mirror. And so as soon as I made that shift, the world around me has changed. And just like every day is a joy, every day is a miracle.
Okay, so that's interesting. So the reason I asked that question is because I thought to myself, I would get tired of being different, and I would get tired of being aware. Like I felt like I had a feeling like that. And then you just answered it with like, well, no, because if you're that way, then the world reflects back to you differently. So you wouldn't be tired in it because you made it. I mean, it is you what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say something.
Yeah, yeah. You said it just right, which is, you know, you have to be the change you wish to see in the world. The world is a literal mirror of who you are. And, you know, it takes some investigation and, you know, you can go on this whole journey yourself and discover what reality is and the world for yourself. It is a space of exploration. If anybody's interested, it's out there if that calls to you. But yeah, actually, let me, may I give you an example? Because,
Of course, please.
okay. So, if you feel that the world is a difficult place, if you're under the impression the world is a difficult place, the universe will bring you experiences which will confirm what you actually believe. And to give you a concrete example, I was in Atlanta visiting my family last week, and I kind of waited last minute to buy a ticket online. So it was like Sunday night, trying to come back on Monday, and I was trying to buy an 8 a.m. flight for Monday morning, and I swear it was like $350 when I saw it like 6 hours ago, but I was a little lazy. And then it was like $1,200. I was like, I am not paying $1,200 for this ticket. No.
Yes, especially
No.
since it was 350 moments ago. Yes.
Yeah, so that I was just like, God. But then there's an afternoon flight for like $350, and I was just like, okay, well, I guess I can do the afternoon flight. That's fine. You know, it's like about a 9-hour difference, and that's okay. And let me tell you what happened on that flight, because part of me, and so I was actually looking for like, I was like, if it's going to be $1,200, it's at least first class. It wasn't. It was like the basic, like I don't even get a luggage for that.
Yikes.
So, and so I get to the airport, and at the airport, you know, I paid $350, like I said, for this 6 o'clock flight. Yeah, so I got like an upgrade to first class for like $50.
This type of shit happens. You guys, I just have to say, this happens to Arya every fucking time I talk to her. Is some wild ass, like, and magically, it just, everything worked out even better than I ever pictured.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Why did that happen for you?
it happened because I was open to the universe delivering me something that I really wanted, that I really believed. I believed I'm, you know, worthy of flying first class, and I'm worthy of whatever price I was going to pay, and it wasn't going to be $1,200. So just like,
I want first class and I ain't paying for it. That's what Arya's paradigm is, which I am 1,000% obsessed with. I love that shit.
oh my God, there's probably so many stories. I'm sure everybody's experienced this, but the point to get across is, you know, the universe will deliver what you expect and what you believe. So you have to look at your belief system. You know, are there certain beliefs that are holding you back? We all have limiting beliefs. You know, they're all programmed, and so learning to go ahead and dismantle that and empower yourself with more beliefs that will bring you, good luck or first class seats. That'd be good.
Oh my God. I don't want to like not emphasize this, because I think this is like one of the most important things that any person could ever know, which is the universe will deliver to you exactly what you believe is true. Like, it is looking for, like, the universe wants you to be right. You're going to be right. So it's like what's reflecting back is based on your beliefs.
Yes, yes. And so I just wanted to share in this phase of my life. So I've done the whole the ER physician thing, and I'm and I'm still at it, and it's fun. But there's this whole another part of me that's just like, okay, it's a lot sometimes seeing taking care of patients, in the sickest day of their lives. You have to be really compassionate and be present, and it can take a toll on you. It
Mm-hmm.
has on me. So I was just like, okay, this next chapter of my life, I want it to be easy. I want everything to be easy for me. I just want to be in flow all the time. And boy, did the universe deliver in every single way. In every single
This
way.
is crazy.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just yes, it really did, and I feel like people need to know. Like, are you okay with people like following you on social media and stuff like that? Like, can they do that? Because I feel like seeing this, like, guys, this is real. Like what she talks about, it happens like every you see, and it's like, where's Arya? Costa Rica, doing something. You're like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
okay, I think that's great because one, you're such a gift of just to be with, but also like we talked about a little bit earlier, like the idea of someone might not know you, but you can always follow people like this. You can always read the things they're putting out. I know you have a great TikTok where you do videos and reels and things like that that touch on a lot of these topics and little bite-sized pieces for people to really like understand and see in action. And I think for me, a lot of my ability to learn is seeing somebody else do it. So seeing that somebody else out there is thinking a little bit different, creating a little bit bigger, that gives me the confidence to know that it's possible for me too. And sometimes it's nice to see someone out there doing it. So it's really nice that you're willing to have people come and like you're sharing and putting your content out, which I just think is so valuable, especially in the world we're in now.
Mm-hmm. And for me, the content that I'm creating right now, it really comes from this space of wanting to share this for the benefit of everyone else because it's a skill set. It is a skill set. What I'm saying is nobody has to suffer out there. Suffering is a choice. If you want a different life for yourself, you just need to develop the skill set, the tools to do so, and it's available. You're welcome to follow me, but there's also lots of people that talk about this, and it's real. Here I am, a physician, talking about this. So just be aware of that. It's possible for you. I want you to know that it's possible for you.
Yeah. How do they find you? How can they find you?
On Instagram, Dr. Arya Chowdhury, and same on TikTok.
Okay, great.
And I have a YouTube channel that I'll be starting. So
Okay, cool. We'll put those in the description of this podcast too, so that people can find it easier. Okay.
okay, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
you. Love you. You're the best. Yeah, this is great. I feel like this is super helpful, very practical. Everything that you said was just very like a normal person can understand this and can take, I think, meaningful steps forward in creating the life that they want for themselves and for their business.
That's awesome. That makes me happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey guys, I have to do a plug for myself. I write every week a coaching, like a real estate coaching newsletter. It's called Coaching for Closers, weekly update. If you want that weekly update, I don't know, message me, email me, moni@moniwilder.com, get a hold of me. I'll add you to it. I write usually a mindset piece at the beginning of it, and then I have like an actual task for you to do every week to build your business, plus other stuff, just really good content. So if you want that delivered to you for free to your email, get a hold of me. All right, thanks. Bye, guys.